Ladies and gentlemen, it is finals time, of course, here for the UMG Prime $25 search and destroy only take a place between Beans and West Coast as we start off our first, and our only actually, not to be first, but our first map essentially here in our best of 5. We're loading things up here on some St. Marie du Mans. It's myself, Lando Sanders, live here from the UMG studio, joined alongside by Jen, a.k.a. Lemon Kiwi from home. As Jen, we just got to witness the guys from West Coast take out. Or excuse me, not the guys from West Coast. Oh yeah, sorry. I'm talking about. Wait, did I write down West Coast? It's PrimeChamps.
It's definitely Prime.
Yeah. I excuse me. I'm just kind of casually saying the different team. You got to witness the guys from PrimeChamps actually take out the guys from West Coast. Excuse me. In our last series, as they won that one in a hot 2-0 Granite Ardent Forest, came down to around 11, but they're able to kind of use that solid search and destroy play, that clutch ability to their favor. As now they have the man count advantage here in this current round. Zaptius and PapiWrek left up. And they're facing off against a man known as Destroy, a very solid gamer tag, as he's trying to do exactly that.
Well, let's see if we'll do something this round. 1 versus 2. At least he recovers the bomb heading towards B. And these players from PrimeChamps onto the defense. At least Zaptius will be near the B bomb site, able to check it at any point. Believe he does spot that player and gets the final kill at the end. So PrimeChamps starting off high. Onyx getting the 2 kills. Zaptius the other 2. Where Beans, I believe this was the team that took out EU Cadets, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so, yeah. Yeah, that's actually correct. Yeah, Beans ended up dropping them out, as we've obviously been able to watch the guys from PrimeChamps play in their last series. Not really super familiar with the overall kind of strategy when it comes down to the squad known as Beans, but I have heard of quite a few of these players. I've heard of GodPaaR, Noobs, and Skilliosis. My first time actually hearing of Destroy, so very curious to see his overall performance. But off the break, PapiWrek, we saw him do work with the sniper rifle in the last series. Of course, a much different opponent and much different map, but the sniper rifle still plays the same. We'll see how much you can really add to the overall deciding factor of this round number 2. Of course, already having the advantage when it comes down to things. It would be nice to find a pick, especially in offense, but wrapping back around, a push being made toward the A-bomb site, and we've been kind of discussing this throughout the night, as PapiWrek does find the first bomb to destroy. The difference when it comes down to the offensive team's choice. On this particular map, of course, B-bomb site spawns were kind of changed. They were updated to make the defensive team have more of a chance when it comes down to the B-bomb site. And basically countless times you're watching offensive teams just have so much success on B, but of course those have been kind of changed up. And due to that obviously taking place, the level of difficulty that now comes with the B-bomb site now forces a lot of teams on that A1. And obviously we've been able to watch that quite a few times tonight. A lot of teams utilizing the A-bomb site very, very well. And obviously very solid play coming in from Onyx and Co. from the set of PrimeChamps as they get some work done on the A-bomb site just like that and secure their second round as Onyx, 4-1 start for him.
And also, we saw PapiWrek pull out this sniper in that last round, which maybe you don't see it too often on a map like this. But 2 rounds down, let's hope that Team Beans, or the Beans Squad, whatever you guys want to call it, will be able to make a solid comeback. Going down 0-3 would not be too good for the morale, but we'll give that bomb here to Noobs, where they're not really fully committed to B, checking out the middle map first and waiting for the nades to go through. But already a first blood again here for PrimeChamps. This might be their 3rd consecutive round with that. Or maybe only 2 consecutive rounds with that, as Noobs now wants to commit towards A, but around the corner here is Onyx, and Noobs spots him and gets the kill. So very good awareness out of that player, and now the numbers will be evened up. This should be giving Beans a nice advantage here, but middle map engagement is going through, and they'll be forced to retreat back in the restaurant.
Indeed they will. 2v2, offensive team making their way inside of top red. And it looks like based on the B-bomb site, player number 6, SSaggioo, is just going to be waiting right around the corner. We'll see if he can do much damage. Does get spotted out as if Noobs knew exactly where he was laying. And it's now PapiWrek, after watching his teammate fall, now finds himself in a position to clutch. This would be huge for his overall team's momentum. Has to get great timing, spots out 1, but doesn't even find that. Kind of really headbutts the other player. And thankfully, GodPaaR was there to kind of pick things up. And along with that bomb plant, that's actually big that Noobs does stay alive. And I know it kind of talked about the usefulness of streaks. And like I said, little plays like that, like little moments where a player kind of has your back or you're able to stay alive in a 1v1 situation after getting a plant down or whatever it really may be, really plays big when it comes down to streaks in the end of a round or in the end of a game. It can obviously dictate a series, one that obviously has quite a bit of money on the line, just like this one, of course, $2,500. As we were able to witness this best-of-5 series start to take its way. His offense now lined up here for the guys on PrimeChamps. Look like they are at least tempting their way toward the B-bomb site. Zaptius desperately trying to make his way in, but just not having any teammate support, not only having any teammate control, getting into it, but just as that happens, Destroy able to shut down one. Onyx not exactly knowing where these shots are coming from, does fall, and falls a long way. This will be dropping through a number of different missing textures.
Well, Team Beans picked up first and second blood. I think one player was in top restaurant. Noobs was laying down around restaurant. Noobs gets a second kill of the game there for himself. And Beans cleaning up the feed like that and answer back the 2 consecutive rounds that they lost at the beginning. And I think Beans are now having finally a showing. It was a bit of a stomp there at the beginning. And PrimeChamps winning those 2 rounds pretty quickly, to say so the least. But Noobs 6-2, and we'll have to look, see if he's working on any streaks into the coming rounds. But very solid performance now finally coming out of Beans, and to be very surprised that they took out EU Cadets. Those were a team we thought would make it to the finals, and even have a player that even Landon hasn't heard of, which is surprising because he knows everybody ever.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I have a lot of practice, of course, with watching these guys 9 in and 9 out. But yeah, Destroy, definitely haven't really heard of this guy too much, but like I said, very interested to see his performance for tonight, as he has found a first blood in. This is the guy that I was talking about, actually. It is right now Noobs coming through on a 7 spree, and this is the exact same guy that I was talking about. In that one play where he was going for the plant, his teammate had his back. I want to say that was GodPaaR. In that particular moment, I was saying how important streaks can be in little moments like that. Well, this guy has gone on a spree and has earned all 3 of those. Of course, rocks at the final pilot to gain some information. Now has that glide bomb and mortar strike to work with. And as 2 players start to fall, the third one follows suit. And Zaptius, the last up, is at least able to find 1 for his troubles, but not much more than that, as the streak will work out successfully. And 2 more to go. As you like to say there, Jen, great streak economy currently in use right now for the guys on for the guys on Beans. Big advantage for them right now.
Yeah, I'm getting that pretty early in this map as well. Means they'll be able to open up either probably the coming rounds, depending on what kind of classes the other team has, either to gain some information, maybe some more kills with it. But this is going to be a nice advantage for Beans. And after 3 consecutive rounds, they're surely on fire. Now onto the defense. They'll be setting up at their usual, probably sending a player restaurant and pushing in through B, where PrimeChamps taking their time, trying to explore through the middle map, where they find Destroy there right away. That's PapiWrek there with the sniper. How does he find that? Who knows? But they are getting aware that Beans like to push this middle map, and now they're sending a few more players there and checking and scoping out A, because once they get control of mid-map, it should be a breeze to get the bomb down at A.
And GodPaaR has to be careful. I mean, these guys are kind of peeking out in very kind of high-risk situations. Granted, it does work out for Skilliosis only for the time the kill gets traded out. So while it is in somewhat a decent exchange, it's not one where I'm sure they're pretty favorable about. Both Noobs and GodPaaR, of course, in their current positions. Now in a 2v3, of course, working their way on that B-bomb site, but in the opposite end, though, for offense, to the PapiWrek. Watching over his teammate here at A, as I'm not sure if Noob spotted that based on his position. He's quickly heading down those stairs, it seems. And he's just going to chill right here. He's just going to kind of hang out. Streaks start to come forward, and I believe those actually did come in from Noobs, I want to say. I don't think anyone else does have streaks to rock with, so I want to say that was a glide bomb that gets utilized because the fighter pilot was used prior. That's the reason why he sits on those stairs, is just trying to rock these. So Zaptius comes through with the final 2, and I guess the streak was just trying to limit the players on that site, but generally that doesn't get a whole lot done. So not exactly sure the overall thought process, if we can actually go to his overall perspective to see if Noobs does have any streaks left. No, he actually utilizes them all. So utilize the mortar strike or the glide bomb. Not exactly sure what. Okay, no, he does have the mortar strike. I guess that was a little bit of a glitch. But utilizes the glide bomb in a awkward spot. So kind of a streak wasted, in my opinion. Definitely not one that's favored. Has a nice nade, though, that could definitely take out SSaggioo. But SSaggioo does get behind the bomb. And now the mortar strike should be coming in shortly. Trying to clear out the B-bomb site. We'll see how it does work out. But it doesn't work out too favorably. No one drops, and SSaggioo is in the exact same position he was just a few rounds prior. And you see what a nuisance he is. While he ends up dropping here, Jen, he at least kind of waits a little bit of time and tries to delay the forces as much as possible. But regardless of that being the case, Zaptius now 1v2 scenario. And while it was a decent play coming in from the guys on PrimeChamps, in the end, it's obviously a round that does not go their way. And GodPaaR here with the final kill on the Zaptius inside the top red. Now with the advantage.
Well, that's a cute anime emblem. We've just been noticing all these emblems that are very nicely crafted. But yeah, kind of whipping a couple streaks. I don't even know the total of kills he got. I would say 0 or very little. But like he used it on B site and should have got that kill on SSaggioo, but I guess he was laying around the right cover. But they still picked up the kill on the SSaggioo, first and second blood, and getting the round. But when you have that advantage, it should go a lot easier than that. Nonetheless, PrimeChamps will have the bomb in hand. And again, checking out this middle map. Destroy comes from middle and picks up Zaptius for the first blood, so huge defensive advantage. You can see they're closing in now towards the middle map. Onyx still committed towards the B-bomb site, but loses a teammate there. It's Destroy pushing up, gets a second kill before trading out. So leaving this match here in a 2 versus 2, Onyx should try to go for the B-bomb plant while everybody's busy. He does get spotted out, nades getting exchanged, doesn't go for the plant, actually goes to rotate around.
And I want to point out a strategy that I actually see get utilized actually from the guys on Beans, and what they kind of do through a lot of their defensive rounds is they actually send Destroy through that kind of middle courtyard square area just in front of the offense's kind of top red position. And what they've been doing is just kind of sending him inside of that box with the PPSH to kind of find a first blood, to at least gain some information. And he does exactly what he did last time, as the two get found very, very fast. The nice kind of two-piece comes forward, and that's the reason why a lot of teams still a little bit wary of this A-bomb site. We got to send some members to kind of watch over this. As the quick two-piece comes in from Onyx, you should never body stack like this. And I was finally giving the guys on Beans Squad or Beans some props, and they kind of ruined it just like that. But one strategy that you're going to see them utilize quite a bit on defense is kind of having this man Destroy get pushed in toward that kind of mid-box area. And what he kind of does is just trying to add as a distraction. I mean, the first blood kind of comes forward, and he just kind of acts as a big distraction, trying to kind of hold off the enemy for as long as possible. If he finds the first blood, great, but overall he's just trying to stay alive and trying to at least be kind of a nuisance. And nuisance he is, but you also see the reason why that a lot of the time they're going to have him kind of be that is that a lot of the time he's been the kind of bomb planter for them, the main objective guy. Of course, they're going to get Skilliosis now, but usually the bomb planter is one that's kind of important, but kind of switching the strategy up as he's kind of gone for the rushes. Usually you don't want your kind of initial player, the guy who's rushing things quite a bit, to be your bomb planter, just because the fact that bomb planting is obviously big, gives you a lot of score. And when it comes to the future rounds, you don't want them to be kind of sacrificing that score for nothing. So with that in mind, though, speaking of the man Destroy, he does get taken out from the back, as PapiWrek desperately wanting to win out this 1v2. A lot on the line right now, and a map 1 victory would be big. And the way that you can do that is by propelling yourself to 5 first. Gonna get there, making his way forward. And Skilliosis right around the corner. PapiWrek, pretty awkward spot here, Jen.
1 versus 2 definitely doable though, but not with the 10 seconds that remain. If the bomb wasn't down, then maybe. But oh, he is able to pick up 1 and maybe can live out his life. Work towards streaks, I guess. 300 points away, but this bomb will be exploded and will give the other team a few more points. But still, 4-4. It's close, or now 5-4 here in favor of Beans, where, of course, it started off 2-0 for Prime, and then now the series is getting a lot closer. And this is a best of 5, by the way, so lots of room for both these teams to adapt and work maps that maybe they're more suitable for. And we're going to give PrimeChamps now the offense, and PapiWrek has been using a lot of the sniper over at the A site and sort of left in these 1v3, 1v4 scenarios if his team end up losing a round. But you can see how careful PrimeChamps are playing now, making sure that these players from Beans aren't rushing through mid as they have gotten first bloods before. They're going to exchange some nades, but it's actually Noobs that wins the sniper battle there, picks up SSaggioo.
And that's a big pick that he finds because, of course, the guys from PrimeChamps are just so aware of this mid-box area that Destroy could be here at any moment. They're just kind of not kind of keeping in mind their other options where they could be taken out for a first blood, and just like that, the sniper comes forward, drops one off the start, and the second one there as well. An immediate 2v4 for the PrimeChamps. Of course, trying to get that title is what they are seeking. And looks like that. Noobs shuts down PapiWrek, and now Zaptius a 1v4 to force OT. Can he get it done? The first kill found, but not the remaining ones. It will be a round 10 victory here for the guys on Beans, as they are now up 1-0 in our grand final here for the UMG Prime $25 Search and Destroy. A big map one at that, but you bring it up, Jen. The factor of kind of best of threes now being forced to best of fives. You know, granted, you don't want to obviously discuss and saying you can kind of get comfortable, but at least they kind of have that weight off their shoulders to say, you know what, it is a map one loss, but it's not over. We're not, you know, automatically down and kind of already have our backs against the wall after a map one loss. We can start to kind of rebound and try to play off of it. As now the guys from PrimeChamps have to focus on some USS Texas. We actually got to watch them play on this exact same map in their last series versus the guys of West Coast, and they ended up winning that one in a pretty dominant way. PrimeChamps ended up closing that out 6 rounds to 2. So they feel pretty confident on this map. We talked about early on Onyx's performance. I think he ended up dropping pretty big numbers. I think he found an ace in round number 1 off of that match as well, along with a 1v3. So he's got to be looking out for the set of PrimeChamps. I know for the set of Bean Squad, we haven't really been able to watch them too much, but they obviously have, you know, a lot of game to play. We talked about Destroy. His performance inside mid-box was always a problem. Noobs with that sniper rifle was constantly an issue. And when we talked about USS Texas, that's a sniper's playground. Noobs, for sure, for me, I think is going to be utilizing that sniper quite a bit. And for the set of PrimeChamps, I know, I can't remember who exactly it was. I want to say it was PapiWrek who've been utilizing that sniper quite a bit for the opposite side. So be expecting kind of that sniper duel, that kind of 1v1 for those first picks to be happening a lot for this map too coming up.
Yeah, USS Texas, I mean, we saw how dominant they were in the last performance because they had PapiWrek on the sniper, and I think it's mostly a sniper showdown. Whoever has the more the effective sniper will be able to dominate whichever lane, which you can even set up 2 snipers watching both lanes, which makes it almost impossible for the offensive team to get the objective down when they have a sniper watching over them. But a lot of sub plays can also make things happen, pushing through ship, going for flanks. So if you have a very aggressive sub player or sub team, this is where you can also shine. But it made it extremely difficult in the past USS Texas that we watched, how dominant the snipers were controlling the pace of the game. And we saw some smoke grenade usage, but not as much. But that would be another interesting thing that could come out from these teams.
Yeah, I'm glad you bring up the sniper rifle, or bring up the smokes kind of in counter to the sniper rifles, because if there's one thing that you would be utilizing when it comes down to both these squads who have a very talented kind of sniper rifle in their backhand, it's utilizing those smokes. The one major counter to these sniper rifles is utilizing something that totally blocks their vision when it comes in either bomb site. That's a major question to kind of be bringing up. I'm glad that you brought it up heading into this map number 2. But I don't really want to head to a commercial break. If we have the opportunity to, we obviously can. But I want to get your thoughts on when it comes into USS Texas, what your overall prediction is for a map like this. Because, of course, we talk about Bean Squad. You know, we don't really know too much about them, but we have a little bit of an idea as to what kind of expect from their gameplay. You know, the fast SMG presence is definitely there. The snipers at range definitely kind of fits the mold of what a USS Texas usually has the kind of succeeding team do, is what they kind of have success at so far. We've obviously been able to watch PrimeChamps win this in their past series versus West Coast. They won this one in a 6-2 fashion. But I want to get your predictions, though. When it comes down to USS Texas, give me kind of like your envisionment for this series. You don't have to give me an exact score line, but I want to know who you're favoring, or at least players you'll be looking at heading into this map, too.
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, this is our first showing of Team Beans, and the fact that they took this one, they also beat EU Cadets, as I've mentioned time and time again. They seem like a solid secret squad that we haven't got the chance to see, and I want to look forward to whichever sniper. I want to say, is it Noobs or somebody? I think I want to say it's Noobs that might have picked up the sniper, but PapiWrek has been shown time and time again in his previous games how efficient he is, and not only his positioning, but the fact that he can execute on the kills and really control the pace of the game. So I'm thinking PrimeChamps have the advantage just because of how dominant PapiWrek is with the sniper. Yeah. But now Beans will be, I believe, Beans will be on the offense to start out, and I don't believe they are running really any snipers. With lots of nades being exchanged, you could see they're pushing all their subs towards inside ship, and their objective possibly aiming towards B, but PapiWrek will be watching over it.
Yes, indeed. Of course, not getting a whole lot of info as trades going back and forth. Zaptius and GodPaaR responding for the first 2. Just like that, Destroy finds the headshot, putting things back in his teammates' favor, but only for a short time. Zaptius now quickly finding himself in a 1v2. The PPSHs are out to play in round 1. He's going on board with Zaptius here. We'll see what he can try to pick up. And we talked about his performance when it came down to first round. What can he do here? He's having 2 enemies run right past him. The great trigger discipline, of course, not to immediately fire onto Destroy. Also realizes where Noob's positioning is. Can he get the turn on? Finds one. Can he find the second? Not able to be there. Excellent trigger discipline being utilized there despite that loss. Of course, Destroy had no idea that he was in the back lines. Of course, here's the immediate call-up, probably hears the shots through his headset. And thankfully, he's there for the trade, but you have a few different moments take place. You have a few different kind of seconds tick by. That could have been a round that's clutched out by the guys in PrimeChamps, but regardless, too many players up. And Beans find themselves chalking things up here early on.
Yeah, and they didn't run a single sniper. All they did was just push aggressively through ship, where all the kind of kills collapsed right then. And still 1 versus 2 ended up 1 versus 1. Still a little bit too close for comfort for Beans, but they already lose a player. Sorry, PrimeChamps loses a player, but then trade's going in, and the snipes from PapiWrek across the map. Still able to find some kills. Skilliosis also gets the bomb carrier down, but the trade comes in from inside of ship from PrimeChamps as they even up things 1-1 apiece. And how fast these rounds are going, they're kind of playing like a team deathmatch here.
Definitely were. It's kind of like a one-life TDM, essentially. But big pick coming in from PapiWrek as that snipe kind of comes through. Beans now have to be very, very aware when it comes down to this next offensive round for them. That sniper rifle could definitely be coming out to play. But looks like now on offense. See what site they do prefer. They were obviously fans of the A-bomb site. Looks like they're going to stick with that strat potentially as a destroy right now. Throwing some utility from above. And destroy, of course. Known as a fast player, kind of the quick SMG for the side of Beans, was very influential when it came down to St. Marie Dumas, was constantly in the face of the enemy. Of course, continuing on with that aggressiveness, has to back up after being one shot, but Skilliosis making his way through the fire, receiving some shots to the back lines from PapiWrek, but does dodge them just enough. Sniper bullets coming from all different directions. This thing's starting to equal out. Noobs and Skilliosis. 2v2 versus Onyx and PapiWrek. Skilliosis, great positioning, does shut out one. And needing to back up with his teammate. And right now, if you're PapiWrek, right, you're on defense. You're kind of in an awkward position. Tries to go for the nice little quick scope. The Nosk, but isn't able to find anything. Gets a second opportunity to shut down Skilliosis, and just as the sniper bullet does expire, a few FG shots in the side will take you down pretty quickly. About 3 is all it'll do. And Skilliosis in the side of Beans, shock up another.
Yeah, and both teams only finding success also in their offensive rounds, so struggling to keep this defense going, and it's not really, I don't think any objective has been planted yet. It's just, like I said, the teams racking in very, very quickly into these rounds, and that was a bit of a slower round, 2 versus 2 and 1 versus 2 at the end, as Zaptius will have the bomb again, and for Team PrimeChamps, look like they're committed towards B, but who knows? They look like they're just focusing on picks half the time. As we're still on board here, PapiWrek rocking the sniper, watching over A, just misses the forehead of somebody there, who gets spotted out ship. He's able to make for it with Destroy, getting picked off there early into the round, so Beans in a disadvantage, but still in the round advantage, 2-1. But I feel like this is going to be another close back and forth S&D game as we saw in the previous map. But Zaptius bomb in hand is going to spot a player ship, wants to push up towards A, where SSaggioo picks up a player defending the A site, so this could be looking good, but they do know that there are some players from Beans inside of ship, so maybe a little bit too risky to go for the A plant, not knowing when a player could pop out. They go to shift towards B, but GodPaaR is going to be waiting there, and Noobs picks up another kill, so just like that, the advantage is taken away from them. Yeah, I mean, it just seemed as if that advantage quickly slips away. I mean, big plays coming in from GodPaaR to find a kill along with backing up. Another situation where PapiWrek, the guy who, of course, normally has a sniper rifle in hand, thankfully does find a PPSH off the ground, but still has to clutch and gets great timing. Noobs doesn't actually spot him. And now PapiWrek is on the hunt. Where could he go? Where is he at? He's right in front of you, my friend, but it's actually the different opponents. And now if you're Noobs, you're just trying to stay alive. No harm in that. Of course, the objective, not enough time to get planted. And not enough time to find the other player. So the round will expire with a kill not taking place in that 1v1. In another round here toward the side of Beans, as it looks like a smoke in the back pocket there for Skilliosis. Has the bomb in hand, of course. It looks like they could be making a push toward the B-bomb site. Maybe wrapping back things around, of course. When it comes to the minimap, it's a little bit difficult to see. A very skinny little point of view, but it's difficult for us commentators to realize what's exactly taking place. And it seems that Destroy also suffering the same problem as a flank comes through off the start. They're trying to kind of pick up
if you are the offensive team trying to recuperate to see exactly what just took place, what exactly happened, and before GodPaaR can even think of that, PapiWrek is greeting him with the sniper rifle from a long range. Noobs desperately needs to get on board with his teammate Skilliosis, both on opposite sides of the map. Now if you're Noobs, you're just trying to find a pick, trying to stay off the radar. Skilliosis drops one for his troubles. And now this is an awkward spot. You got 30 seconds. And right now if I'm Noobs, I'm trying to clear out a sight for my teammate. I'm trying to watch over one for my squad. But unfortunately, the machine pistols to the back lines aren't able to fully take out an enemy, excuse me. And so with that, Noobs drops, and now Skilliosis 1v2, no one to watch over him. As the bomb gets planted, he has to kind of force the issue onto one side or the other fast. Drops one on Onyx. SSaggioo left up, trying to stay up right now with Skilliosis 1v1. SSaggioo trying to play the time, but doesn't have a whole lot to work with. And where does the challenge come from? I like the play from Skilliosis, going toward one point of view where you like to expect SSaggioo would not be coming from whatsoever. Doesn't actually spot him, I believe, in that top position. Trying to go for the initial rush. And the smart play coming in from Skilliosis. Realizes that, hey, as long as I can stay up, there's no way he has time to defuse. The kill would be nice, and he does get granted that. As Beans now finding themselves up 4-1. Excellent play in the clutch here. As back-to-back rounds playing the time to their advantage, and it's worked out successfully both times.
Well, an interesting sort of offensive setup there from Beans, having the two players on the complete opposites of the map, realizing, hey, you're over here, okay, A side is clear, this whole lane is watched over, and then they rotate over to B once that one player did drop from knowing that, you know, if you're on one side of the map and you're on the other, then they must be inside of ship, and that's exactly where they came from. Then, at least using his teammate as bait, went over and planted at B, where went in his favor at the very end, playing time, playing smart, running away from fights that he couldn't 100% win. But at the end of the day, here, it's 4-1 in favor of Beans, as PrimeChamps will be on the offense. Huge nade there from GodPaaR for the first blood, but that is quickly equalized there from Zaptius picking up Destroy. More trades coming in. Zaptius going to head through the ship side, knowing that they defense like to set up here. PapiWrek still using that sniper, and the offense will be pushing in on the other side here of GodPaaR. Fantastic pinch out of side of PrimeChamps. Not only do they have completely B side clear, but they can go for the plant and only have one player to worry about, the Skilliosis.
Oh, but Skilliosis, I believe, doesn't spot where PapiWrek was, so he at least knows that one enemy is toward that back line. We see him kind of focusing inside a ship. Are they making that rotation back inside of B? And of course, gets the indicator, now has to go for the challenge. Spots out PapiWrek. At the same time, PapiWrek knows exactly where he is as well. Nice team shots coming in for both Zaptius and his squad mate. And right now for Skilliosis, keeping in mind, I'm close to streaks. I need to play this one passively. If I can find a pick, that's awesome. I have a big round advantage. But it's a matter of escaping, and they're going to at least let you have something to work with for the moment, but they're going to snatch it from you when you least expect it. So, honestly, when it comes down to this match, I mean, 4-2 compared to what could have been 5-1. Big round when it comes down, not just to this map, but this entire series. As we do discuss this current series layout right now, it is the side of Bean Squad who are up 1-0 in this best of 5. So with that, round 7 coming up.
Only 2 rounds separates these teams, so very doable situation. Beans in the series lead, however, and also in the map count advantage currently, as more of a defined A push this time, throwing some nades, or actually no, that's a smoke going down. Nades coming in from the defense. Quick bomb plant down here for Skilliosis. There's one player inside of ship here, and that's Onyx, but not going to be challenged that quite yet. And this is a really solid offensive round if you're Beans. Nades still going to be exchanged, and even finding the first blood there is the offensive team. But the defense here, Zaptius is going to be sitting right onto this the bomb head glitch, but it's Noobs all the way in the back line who finds that forehead. As PapiWrek again left in a 1 versus whatever. We're 5-2. This was a very successful offensive win here for Beans.
Yeah, and there's just different moments where PapiWrek absolutely destroys one player from Beans, but in the end, a solid shot coming in from Noobs. I mean, that's not an easy one to hit at any moment during a game, let alone a big grand final like this, along with that 5th round found. So with that, a big lead currently. Offense now underway for the side of PrimeChamps. As we'll see what they can try to provide. Of course, rely heavily off at first blood. PapiWrek watching his life quite literally flash before his eyes as the sniper started to potentially light things up. Off the break, though, SSaggioo goes for the quick challenge, at least for the vision. Does earn a little bit of knowledge, but still, we talk about this big gunfight going down between these two, and PapiWrek does catch the shoulder at the same time. Zaptius drops one onto GodPaaR. 3-1 advantage when it comes down to this final round, and it looks like it will be now 5-3 as the boys from PrimeChamps continue to tick away at this lead, continue to chip away at this lead. Of course, by no means out, but definitely not looking the greatest of situations. I mean, honestly, Jen, if they were able to bring this one back, that would be amazing for momentum. And just have,
it started off 4-1.
The win out of the sails for Beans, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, Beans started off 4-1, and PrimeChamps at least trying to keep this alive. Offensive round here for Beans again, where Skilliosis will have the bomb. At least 2 plants to his name, so we're getting a little bit more objective work into these later rounds. 4 nades are exchanged, but PapiWrek really pushed up here for the defense, but it's going to be the offensive team that get the first blood. Should be a bomb plant here for Skilliosis. GodPaaR has his back, picking up that kill onto PapiWrek from below. Onyx jumps down, and GodPaaR gets the second kill again, only leaving SSaggioo here in the last 1v3. Gets quickly cleaned up for the 3rd kill for GodPaaR. 6-3 final score here for Beans, who take the 2-0, or not take the 2-0, but lead the series 2-0 in this best of 5.
Yeah, I mean, take it, grab it. I mean, whatever adjective you really want to use. I mean, it really is the guys from Beans Squad who are just kind of walking away with this entire series, and now we're looking kind of at map number 3 and saying, essentially, now PrimeChamps, when do you guys turn up? I mean, what's the point of attack, essentially, when it comes into some armed force? Because, of course, St. Marie du Mont, I mean, generally when it comes into both these maps, they kind of play longer. Of course, the sniper rifles can definitely be utilized. I mean, there's definitely, when it comes into St. Marie du Mont, it's a lot more difficult to rotate from one bomb site to the other, but essentially you kind of have to play both. And the USS Texas is kind of the same, but you can kind of make that quick rotation. I was thinking PrimeChamps might be feeling a little bit more confident. This is a map that they've obviously succeeded on in the past, but like I said, they won their prior series in just 8 rounds of play. But versus Bean Squad, of course, it's a much different task at then. Of course, take a look at the overall scorecard as far as the round count is considered here. As like I said, it is a 6-3 advantage in the end for Bean. As you can kind of see the kind of definition as to what really took place. Of course, at different moments, it was the guys there from PrimeChamps who had some rounds, but they really were never in succession. It was never like an offense then a defensive victory. It was pretty spotty throughout a lot of it. And you notice kind of like that round 3 to round 5 scenario where the guys from obviously Bean started to get some momentum. They started to kind of gain a lot of those first bloods, maybe start to earn close to those streaks. But, for the most part, I think it just really kind of came down to the sniper play. Of course, we're talking about players who obviously had a strong performance. Skilliosis, GodPaaR, Noobs is obviously playing very, very well. And I think a lot of the time, I think for PrimeChamps, I think throughout their prior series, when PrimeChamps was facing off against West Coast, I think really PapiWrek got a lot of confidence off of that. And has kind of been utilizing that sniper rifle quite a bit. And I'm not sure if it's just a situation where he doesn't really want to use a different weapon or if he just feels kind of good rocking it. But, I mean, at times on USS Texas, it was just a matter of him having a sniper rifle out. And once he finds himself in a 1v3, because his teammates clearly aren't really kind of getting the work done, there's nothing really he can do, right? Because, of course, you have a machine pistol. Maybe you pick up like a PPSH off the ground and you try to go to work. But there's not a whole lot of work to be done. And it's just a matter when you're losing those first blood fights, it's a matter of, hey, maybe I should step away from the sniper rifle, maybe challenge something else with my teammates, and we're not winning the kind of 3 versus 3 battle that's going on a lot of the time. Maybe I should try to hop in there and try to do some work with the SMG or maybe even the AR as well. But, of course, like I said, strategies obviously play a different way. USS Texas is prone to sniper rifle, so it's not odd to see him kind of rock with that one when it comes into that map, excuse me. But now time for some Arden Forest. This is another map we got to watch PrimeChamps play, of course, in their last series. They won that one in a round 11 fashion after making a pretty big 2-round sweep. But like I said, much different opponents. If we know anything about USS Texas, if we know anything about the difference between West Coast and Beans, it is obviously a pretty big difference, at least when it comes into PrimeChamps' overall perspective. As I'm sure they're keeping in mind the fact that they're playing Arden Forest, but I doubt they have a whole lot of confidence coming into a map like this after winning it prior.
Well, I think in the last USS Texas map we casted over, I thought it was the snipers that really dominated here, but I think here in this USS Texas, it was a lot of sub play in the middle of the ship that were defining the pace of the game and really setting apart the first and second bloods. And even the first bloods were not really defining the round. That was usually equally traded out pretty a second much after. So heading into Ardent 4 as Beans are going to have that 2-0 advantage. So a lot of pressure on the Champs' shoulders, and maybe we mentioned how maybe calling yourself Prime Champs a little bit of a irony there, that if you don't end up being Prime Champs, or a jinx, I think that was the word I was looking for. You're kind of jinxing yourself, but we're waiting for the final lobby to be loading up, or possibly final lobby. Maybe Prime Champs will have a much better showing onto Ardent Forest, as you did say it was a 6-5 win into the last time we saw them play that map. But still not the greatest scoreline to say that you guys are the Ardent Forest champs, but Beans having a very dominant showing here in this series means I think this could be a 3-0.
Definitely possible. I think a lot of the fans, maybe the chat as well, probably thinking the same. Of course, like I said, guys, if you haven't done so already, make sure to obviously tweet us on Twitter at UMG Events and even put it in the chat below as far as your predictions, what you're thinking the overall scoreline will be for the series, and maybe even the overall round count here for our map 3 on Ardent Forest. I'm personally looking toward the side of Beans to probably close this one out in a 3-0. I mean, it's not as if the games aren't getting closer. I mean, it was a map 1, a 6-4 victory, map 2, 6-3. Not saying that Ardent Forest is going to play any differently, but they really kind of relied very heavily. I was kind of discussing the fact that the sniper play has been big. Maybe PapiWrek wants to kind of put that one aside from time to time. I mean, if it wasn't for him on Ardent Forest in their game versus West Coast, that was going to a map 3 probably. I mean, the other team was up 5 rounds to 3 or 5 rounds to 4, and they were looking at a pretty awkward spot. And obviously, they were able to kind of work some things out in the end. But like I said, this is a map where they obviously feel fairly confident on, but generally not the greatest of confidence, I'm sure, when you're facing off against a much different team and being down 2-0 in the grand finals here. But kind of going over to the overall kind of map count, the overall kind of series up to this point. If you guys have missed anything, of course, St. Marie Dumont obviously did go 10 rounds in total. Beans obviously ended up closing that one out 6-4. And map number 2, of course, was just played on USS Texas. We watched the guys on Beans close that one out 6 rounds to 3. Ardent Forest, of course, loading up here for map 3 shortly. And if we do see it, map 4 will be on London Docks, and we will be visiting St. Marie Dumont if a map 5 does come through it. But, of course, at the current position right now, it's definitely looking the way of Beans for the time being. As like I said, Skilliosis, Noobs, PaaR, Destroy, these guys have been playing very, very, very well. And one thing that I'm very curious about, though, I know we got to witness it on St. Marie Dumont, and now potentially for Ardent Forest. The potential for aggression is going to be here, right? We talked about the offensive execution is very big on a map like Ardent Forest, kind of utilizing those smokes when it comes through kind of that mid-Main Street area, either tossing it just toward that side on you, where you kind of enter in the A-bombs, or the B-bomb side, excuse me, tossing that one out kind of toward back tank, toward back bridge to kind of equal yourself into, cabin as well. Do we see that come out? Do we see kind of the smokes get utilized? There were times on USS Texas where it happened, but the reason why I bring up aggression is that's exactly what this guy Destroy was doing when it came down to map 1. In that kind of mid, kind of square area on the offensive side, or on the defensive side for him, he was constantly messing with the guys on PrimeChamps, making them have to kind of make a delayed push toward a particular bomb site. And what I was kind of trying to get to, I don't believe I was able to kind of point out the overall strat that he was doing, but essentially on St. Marie Dumont, it's a matter of like who can kind of get to that B-bomb site first. And what he's always doing is he's either kind of distracting one teammate to kind of have a full 4-man push into that quick, or he's also kind of halting the entire team from kind of initializing themselves into that bomb site already. So he's kind of all he's doing is kind of slowing down the team. If he loses his life, it obviously happens, but all he's trying to do is just trying to distract the enemy. And that's exactly what kind of can also happen when it comes in Ardent Forest as well, is being able to kind of distract the enemy for as long as possible, trying to delay them to getting either into that B-bomb site or, of course, to A as well. It's going to be a little bit different. But B, kind of you're relying on those picks for the guys on PrimeChamps. They rely heavily on PapiWrek to find a first blood from time to time. And the question being is, can he get that done? Can he kind of find those early kills? Or can Beans, can Destroy kind of find those early first bloods and kind of ruin their strategies? Because when it came down to their prior series for PrimeChamps, Tiny, of course, the guy who was playing for West Coast, their opponents in their last semifinal matchup, he was ruining them on the aggression. He was constantly being a nuisance, finding those first bloods, and they really didn't have a whole lot of counters for him until, obviously, like I said, we saw PapiWrek start to do some work with that sniper rifle. But loading up here for Ardent Forest, are things done, or are we going to see a map number 4 forced onto London Docks is the question to be asking. A lot residing when it comes down to this map. And our PrimeChamps going to be there for the response. It looks like Skilliosis just at the last second is able to hop into this. He's going to be looking on board here with the team who's currently down off the start. They will be on offense. And it looks like it is going to be Zaptius and PapiWrek making their way toward A, where player number 8, which is going to be Destroy, is ready and waiting, not going for the initial aggression. Thought that it could be possible, but still hanging out as the early nade comes in from Noobs. Dropping one off the start. But like I said, the smoke gets tossed out, but the bomb planter ends up falling. PapiWrek ends up finding one for his troubles, but in the end, it's him who's now left all by himself. So kind of a delayed smoke gets tossed out toward the A bomb site. Despite the smoke being tossed out, the guys from Beans are fully aware that, hey, this push is already happening. We're already set up for something like this. Like I said, they have 2 guys who are already here. And that kind of delayed strategy where you kind of send 2 guys toward this site isn't going to work anytime soon. So just kind of an awkward play, one that definitely gets read from Beans. And PrimeChamps doesn't even send all 4 members toward this particular site. I mean, they make an odd push. Why not use all your teammates?
Well, they were perfectly set up on defense, getting the first and second blood. Easy round win there for Beans. Start off with the advantage now over to the offensive side here. They'll give that bomb to Destroy in a really aggressive middle map push here. They're going to cut towards B, but they get first and second blooded in the process from Onyx and PapiWrek, who were already set up over at B. So now Noobs and Destroy will want to rotate over to A, where a little bit less control from the defense, or maybe try and cut through mid and see if they can get some picks from watching over to B site. So still a very tough task. 3 versus 2. They were able to find 1 kill and now equalize those numbers. Huge kill there from Noobs to pick off Zaptius, who I believe was around middle map, or actually had rotated towards cabin side. So these players from PrimeChamps should be aware that the rotation is coming in towards A. And as I say that, Destroy will be getting the bomb down at A. So now PrimeChamps will have to cut through mid. So better position for Noobs would have been to watch his mid cut. See this rotation. He's going to be over at the left side by Destroy's side. So ready for the trade whenever it comes in. Onyx is going to push. Noobs has an easy kill there, but no, loses that to Onyx.
And if you're Noobs, you have to win that fight, right? I mean, you literally get the call from your teammate, and PapiWrek is going to let him know. I talked about how shots in the body aren't always the most favorable, but PapiWrek having no issue with letting him know what exactly happened in that last round. So some momentum gain from PrimeChamps, and that was literally a 2 versus 4 potentially taking place. It kind of comes down to a 2v2 where, of course, the guys from PrimeChamps do lock it down, but they make the smart rotation. I was really thinking this one's going to go their way. They're actually going to be able to get the bomb down and kind of walk away from this one. But unfortunately for them, they do not. They're not able to accomplish that. And actually, the kind of awkward positioning where I thought there was a moment where Noobs really had something going. But he ends up dropping, of course, just short of streaks. Wasn't far off those by any means. But now looking on, Onyx, closest one in this entire lobby. Have to watch a few of his teammates start to fall, as it looks like PapiWrek does get met for the FB, a.k.a. the first blood. And on the opposite end, SSaggioo receiving some shots in the side. Noobs getting his revenge. Because now it's a 2v1. Zaptius, awkward spots. Of course, sitting here on B Dom. As at least like it looks like for the defensive team, of course, in back-to-back rounds, it's just really a matter of them kind of zoning out the opposition. It's just a matter of kind of finding that first pick and kind of as a unit, kind of winning a 2v1 battle, kind of a 2v1 to 3v1 type of situations going on a lot of the time. And I think it's just not necessarily bad positioning in any of these teams. It's just the fact that on the defensive end, it's just so easy to hold on B. And none of these teams have really had any opportunity to kind of break into it. That's why we've seen so many A pushes off the break, is that teams are trying B, and it's just like, hey, we're not having any success whatsoever. We already lost 2 of our members. Let's try something. They're just not having any success. But keep in mind, the smokes that get utilized off the break, they toss this one out just to try to force the issue inside of you. No mid-map pressure being shown. Why? Because the opposition is blind. Defensive team having a lot of issues as GodPaaR responds for the first blood. PapiWrek in the back lines. Just trying to stay up for as long as he can, receiving shot after shot. Goes for the initial challenge and is able to win it. At the same time, though, SSaggioo drops his own teammate, and having to live with that being the case. Now finds himself in a 1v1. Noobs on a 4 spree. Gonna go for the plant. Talk about close to streaks. See what he can try to do. Of course, here on this B-Dom position, what's the play from SSaggioo? What's the position that he takes? What's the route that he tries to use? And Noobs, of course, being aware of every single opportunity Caught timing can definitely play a factor. SSaggioo reveals his position and tries to go for the challenge. However, it's not going to be there. And you got to imagine if that nade goes a different way, if SSaggioo doesn't kill his own teammate, it's a 2v1 challenge. It's a factor of where Noobs probably doesn't even have enough time to get the bomb planted.
Yeah, and even GodPaaR like pushed all the way up to try and chase a kill and ended up getting baited between 3 players that were up there. And I think that's how the team kill happened. They all just saw one player come out and they're all 3 of them there. And the team kill went out. And then the 1 versus 1 where I don't know why he kind of just started shooting without being able to just guarantee that kill. But nonetheless, this is going to be still a 2-round advantage here for Beans, and Zaptius will have the bomb, but Destroy goes for the first blood, and Zaptius pushing in towards the A site, but all 3 players of Beans will be there. Onyx gets the second blood, as now that actually, no, the numbers are evened up, 3-3 apiece, but the bomb planter goes down right beside Cabin. This is a huge, terrible spot to leave the bomb, but SSaggioo able to win a very important gunfight there, recovers the bomb, and leaves himself in a 1 versus 1 versus Noobs, who is all the way at the back of the spawn here and gets the bomb plant down. So this is a huge advantage for SSaggioo after kind of some misplays happened at the beginning there, and that's could have been a very bad situation if SSaggioo lost that gunfight.
Here comes the streak from Noobs. He has the glide bomb. He's earned it. He can absolutely kill SSaggioo in this position. Doesn't get hit markers, but has an idea of his position. Goes for the pistol challenge, but isn't able to win it. I thought he had it in the bag. And I think he quite literally thought he did as well, but SSaggioo thinks differently. The jump shot with the PPSH. The machine pistol's good, but not that good. As that's a big second round gain here for the side of PrimeChamps. As Noobs, who was on what, like a 7 spree, a 6 or 7 spree, was going off. They're able to win it, but kind of getting back into the kind of guts of that round essentially for round number 5. It's just a matter of, especially for PrimeChamps, having the problem of not being able to work toward that B-bomb site. They're having a lot of issues with trying to force their way on A. Granted, it works in round 5. They kind of brute force their way in. Of course, we see it come down to a 1v1, but just having a number of different issues. You see both teams not having much success on B, constantly getting picked off, and relying on these delayed A rushes. And while it works from time to time, quite a bit, the majority definitely does not favor it. And now you're going to see Noobs, of course, does have streaks. A few players are, you know, from time to time, of course, you're not really experienced in search and destroy. You might say, well, why doesn't he use the streaks? Of course, very important to use them in a more favorable position. If he wasn't a 1v1, maybe he could play a little bit differently, but being on offense, of course, does play a different tune. But like I said, 1v2, bomb is down. Not a whole lot to play with and just tagging up, peppering players from afar, but drops SSaggioo. Bomb now in his possession. And Zaptius, do not challenge this, my friend. You have no reason to challenge this, Zaptius. Why are you doing this? There's no reason that you should be challenging this right now. You're not on the offense. Stay up. What's he doing?
That's an ego boost right
oh my
there.
God.
Oh, okay, he won it.
I was literally about to have a heart attack. Like, if I was his teammate, I'm like, Zaptius, get out of there. Like, back up. Like, he has an FG42, but why are you challenging him? Like, why are you letting him tag you up constantly? He is able to win the fight, but to me, that's just too risky, in my opinion.
Just stat padding at the very end. But this guy is 12-3 though, by the way, and it's only been 6 rounds, so God. Almost every time, you know, 2 kills a round. And this is only 3-3 scores, so Beans still looking to win possibly the series. This could be the final map. Remember, Beans are up 2-0 in the series, so still a lot of pressure on PrimeChamps' shoulders to keep the series alive and play smartly and not play too stupid or do any stupid plays, as they will be onto the offense, and Zaptius will have the bomb, and they still haven't decided, do they want to infiltrate A, maybe try and get a pick through mid, or push towards B, and the defense have set up 2 players over at B and 2 players towards A, but left their middle map completely open, so this could be a chance for PrimeChamps to go for a rush, but in the situation that they're in, a 3v3, you might not expect that. But Zaptius will be pushing up. GodPaaR is right around the corner. TBE Noobs spots him from the high ground. So this could be up to PapiWrek to get a sniper shot, but Zaptius picks up the kill on the GodPaaR, who's around the corner. Now they're able to push up using the smokes, push off these players from the defense, but there's Skilliosis from the mid-map. Zaptius goes for the trade. Able to get it, I believe.
And here comes the fire pilot from above. At the same time, Destroy doing some damage. Zaptius 1v2. The streak gets utilized. Does it know where Zaptius is? Of course, him using Mountain, it doesn't see him directly, but how does this round play out? Position is known. Zaptius Trying to escape, goes for the jump shot, but not able to find it. Noobs finding his 13th kill at the end of this round number 7. I believe Destroy not happy that he doesn't get the feed his streaks, but Noob's gonna go and give him the plant. Says, you know what? I've got enough kills. I've got enough streak. I'll let you pick something up here, Mr. 2 and 6. But no, of course, with Noobs finding every single kill, it's a little bit difficult. But like I talked about, when it comes down to this A site, and Destroy just has a little bit of a spasm there. When it comes to this A-bomb site, bro, both of these teams are having issues, and we get to witness it in that last round from PrimeChamps. They try to make their way toward that particular site. I think it was actually a smoke that gets tossed out. I think the player thought he actually had a stun, which kind of works out in their favor to a point, but kind of the nades come through. Both these teams are having issues, especially PrimeChamps, are having a problem on offense on this B-bomb site. Not having a whole lot of success. So they're making these late rotations toward A, and it's obviously not working in their favor for either team. As it looks like, yet again, another round trying to work your way toward the B site. Yet again, not a whole lot of success found. And now Noobs and Destroy finding themselves in a 2v3. As I know in that last round for this exact team, of course, for Beans, they were even forcing kind of a 2-2 split. And when it comes to unforced, it's normally almost every time kind of a 2-1-1 where it's kind of 2 players in B, 1 in mid, and 1 toward cabin side. It's becoming so much of a factor where both these teams are realizing that, hey, we're not having success on B. It wouldn't surprise me if we even start to see kind of the opposite, where we see 2 players in cabin, 1 in mid and 1 in B, just because of how much pressure is really being utilized on this B-bomb site, and no success is really being shown from it. So with that in mind, of course, heading in toward round number 9 as things start to get very, very close, like you just said a few short seconds ago, Jen, is the fact that Beans up 2-0 in this series. And speaking of 2s, 2 away, a pair away from winning out this entire tournament and winning a major portion, of course, of that $2,500 prize. The first blood comes in from Skilliosis. A shot gets responded back from PapiWrek, of course, one that isn't found. When we talk about the difficulties on offense, they now have a man down and still trying to work this B site. We'll see how it does work out for them. Just trying to force the issue. Zaptius, a big kill onto GodPaaR. Has to be aware of Noobs and makes it look easy. Drops them in quick succession. A 3 spree right now for Zaptius. Spotting out Skilliosis, but the long-range shot is not there. SSaggioo going for the chase. Is able to drop it. Man advantage right now for the guys on PrimeChamps. Destroy the last man alive. Can he ruin the party? Can he halt the progression that PrimeChamps is trying to make in this series? Of course, trying to delay as much as possible. He did this exact same thing when it came down to map 1 on St. Marie-du-Mont, but it's not going to happen. Destroy will fall. And just like that, it is a 5-4 round count advantage right now for PrimeChamps. They have a lead in this map 3 and are 1 round away from seeing a map 4, which would be on London Docks.
Wally's Prime will be... Oh, actually, they're on to the defense. Now Zaptius, or sorry, that's Skilliosis here, will have the bomb for Team Beans. And now pushing in towards the middle of the map. Nades and smokes being exchanged. It's a very aggressive push here for Beans. See if this will be a high risk, high reward. 2 players pushed up, finding some shots onto some players from Prime, but not converting those into kills. As meanwhile, the bomb planter gets a very important kill there onto Onyx. Now they're able to have full control over B, get the bomb plant down. PapiWrek has a sniper on the other side, however, so they'll have to be wary of that, and Destroy's not going to decide to peek him. Just going to lay around this corner, wait for the engagement. Skilliosis, I believe, is getting the bomb down in the meantime. So this will be giving Beans the advantage and also the number advantage in this case. But now they're going to be collapsed on. 1 player pushed in through mid. It's going to be SSaggioo. He finds a kill into GodPaaR and going to disengage after that. Evening up the numbers here is exactly what PrimeChamps going to do. And now pushing in. Oh my god, Beans were all distracted, trying to watch through mid. But it was PrimeChamps coming through the right side, and they completely pushed this offensive team out.
Noob's trying to make his way forward. Of course, not a whole lot of time left before that bomb does explode. Destroy 1v2. Trying to defend that side is Zaptius. Going for the quick defuse. Hops off of it. And SSaggioo going for the challenge. He just has to take him out, and he does exactly that. A big pick comes through for Destroy as he realizes the more important engagement of the 2 will close this out, as that is a big victory in the end. As that is just unbelievable play coming forward. As we are going to see some overtime, a round 11 forced. And a sacrificial play comes in from this man, Destroy. Just unbelievable timing to get that one in. And now 1 round to either see us a map 4 or to close things out. PapiWrek having some forethoughts of that prior series in the semifinals where he did so much damage with this exact same weapon on this exact same map in the exact same scenario. Is now Onyx, bomb in hand, receiving some shots from the opposite end. Skilliosis will drop him. And now if you're the offensive team, you start to feel the pressure. B-bomb site worked last time, but can they get that exact same success here as well? Zaptius trying to clear out this site for his team, trying to bring them back in this series. Kill after kill, meaning so much. He's now up to 12 kills, trying to pass noobs as they'll see each other for a brief moment. But player lingering through mid-map, he's inside of you. No one knows who this is. It's actually Destroy. Can he find a second? And yes, Destroy finding 2 big ones. SSaggioo is there to respond, but last player up. And just like that, he will fall. A big play comes in from Destroy as he will almost quite literally destroy this entire setup, this entire push that was made from the PrimeChamps squad. But in the end, the OT will go the way of Beans as they win this entire map, this series, and this tournament. And of course, speaking on that, they are your UMG Prime $2,500 Search and Destroy only champions. Of course, congratulations to Skilliosis, Noobs, GodPaaR, and Destroy. Of course, as we get to witness here, this kind of round count analysis, kind of seeing what exactly took place. But you see here at the end, Bean Squad just going big at the end. They win that round 10, round 11. We talk about their presence off the start and kind of that big round 8 and round 9 swing coming in from PrimeChamps. But in the end, it's just not there. And kind of coming into this entire map, I think it's fair to say, Jen, we have some high hopes. Of course, from PrimeChamps, can they kind of bring this one back? Can they have a strong performance? They absolutely did. They were there. The response was there. It wasn't as if, it was just kind of a one-sided affair. This one goes to an overtime for a reason, right? But to me, this kind of entire map was based on the fact that teams were having problems early on in initializing that presence inside the B-bomb site. They were just constantly having problems where we were seeing that late rotation being made toward A, and just about every single time, of course, there were a few exceptions, but basically every single time, the defensive team, the player who was waiting inside a cabin, was ready for it. I mean, he was just kind of like, getting his hands warm. He was like, all right, I'm ready for this kind of challenge to happen because there's not a whole lot really taking place. And so I feel like based off the fact that we didn't really see a whole lot of success for the offensive team on B, I really think that maybe different strategies should have been utilized, maybe some tossing of smokes when it comes into mid-map, trying to kind of force their way inside of you, maybe some stuns, something to kind of counter the guys in the back lines who were just kind of waiting there with FG42s. But one thing that I really noticed that wasn't there a whole lot, and I talked about the usage of smokes, granted from time to time there was some mid-map presence, but for the most part, for the defensive team, or for the offensive team, that's what really was lacking. There was no mid-map presence. There was no mid-map really kind of control being taken place. And a lot of times, we obviously witnessed it in that last round, no one was looking toward you. No one was watching in those kind of closing situations toward that kind of mid-U position. That's exactly where Destroy was doing through a lot of this match. And of course, he wasn't always in the kind of highest of kill margins. He wasn't at the top of the scoreboard, but he was finding big kills throughout a lot of this match. I talked about his performance in St. Marie du Mans, kind of constantly being a nuisance in the side, kind of delaying the guys from PrimeChamps to getting on that objective quite a bit of the time. And he's here to kind of spoil the party again. He finds 2 big kills there to kind of close things out for the side of Beans. But generally, like I said, it was just kind of poor execution, I feel like, of that objective for either side. And just in the end, of course, Beans are able to clutch up and just have some great time and go their way.
And I like to switch up from PrimeChamps as well. I think they were down 4-1 against Baines into this S&D, and they're able to switch to a more from a passive to a more aggressive play style, especially onto defense, really pushing up and taking control of the bomb site. And also the way they were able to push and maneuver the other team around. And just, I think one of the rounds, I think the bomb was planted, they were able to completely push the other team out. Even with the number disadvantage, PrimeChamps were able to equalize the numbers most of the time and make this a very close game, as the series turned out to be in a round 11 fashion. From being down 4-1 to making this a round 11, it's quite a performance out of PrimeChamps. And even though this was a 3-0, I think most of these games came down to these really quick reaction scenarios that ultimately favored Beans at the very end.
Definitely. Of course, got to give a massive shout out to, of course, we do congratulate the Sign of Bean Squad for winning this tournament. We have to give a pretty big GG to the guys at PrimeChamps as well. I'm glad you're bringing that up, Jen, because they had a very solid performance. While it was a 3-0, like you said, I mean, map 1 and map 2 definitely or map 3, kind of came down to the kind of closing ends. And I'm just always very curious of how London Docks probably would have played out in this series, just because PrimeChamps are really relying heavily off of that kind of teammate control. Like once they kind of get into a bomb site, once they can kind of utilize kind of all 4 members at once, they were just kind of like a moving unit, but it was really just the guys on Bean Squad who were kind of picking them off one by one at different vantage points, and obviously making them have quite a few issues when it came down to this entire series. As of course, we see Game 1 of St. Marie-du-Mont go just 10 rounds as Bean Squad was able to close that one out. USS Texas played a little bit more of the same, pretty much kind of a picking off for the guys on Beans, yet again, as kind of noobs with the sniper rifle at range. A lot of SMG presence was kind of taking place inside of midship, and Beans obviously had the bigger advantage when it comes down to that. And of course, OT forced here on Arn Forest, where, like I said, Beans won this one as well. And a hot 3-0. Got to give you a lot of confidence, a lot of momentum, probably heading to obviously future UMG Online tournaments, especially our Search and Destroy ones here, which we obviously have quite a bit of the
Go on myself. I'm cold, still stainless. My glass